This podcast may contain adult language, adult situations, spoilers, and some brief nudity, so parental guidance is suggested.
We have such sights to show you.
After about 5 minutes of this movie, you're gonna wish you had 10 beers.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Oh, well. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la, yeah.
Welcome back to the Cinema Recall Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special bonus episode of the Cinema Recall Podcast. I have on with me right now a first-timer to the show. Very excited. I know I connected with this cat through Let's Chat with Chris Revel and a few other places. We have with us Mr. Robbie Sherman of the podcast, Conversations with Robbie Sherman, and Freakazoid. Hello, Robbie.
Hello. How are you?
I'm well, man. How's your day going so far?
It's been okay so far. I guess I can't really complain too much. I haven't done a lot other than, errands I have to do anyways.
Oh, sure. Well, for me, it's an errand just waking up and getting out of bed and going to the bathroom and making coffee and whatnot. I'm like, all the stuff I gotta do, can't just stuff come to me?
Yeah, I deal with depression too. It's okay, Jason.
Okay. Well, very cool to have you on our show. Greatly appreciate this. I know, as you can see on your podcast feed, we are going to be talking about the movie After Hours, directed by Martin Scorsese. What is your history with Martin Scorsese as a filmmaker?
I mean, he's like pizza when it comes to cinema, right? He's a guy everybody knows, and everybody knows his films from their big reputations, so it's hard not to enjoy Martin Scorsese and have some kind of history with him. Like, I don't consider my personal history with him anything special. I'm a guy from Indiana. I did not grow up anywhere near Martin Scorsese's home, turf or anything like that. I can't say I have like extreme mafia experiences, but I love his films. I mean, he's got one of the great bodies of works in modern cinema, doesn't he?
Yeah,
well, I would say. Oh, go ahead.
I was asking, man, what was the first movie you saw from him?
It's probably Goodfellas,
sure.
Maybe Casino. Goodfellas is one of those movies that's always on cable. You can kind of figure out, when it's going to be on and watch it front to back in a censored way. Though I probably did see it censored for the first time, because I remember like the second or third time watching it and thinking there was way more violence in it and stuff, so...
I don't remember this being in here. What?
Yeah, I think a lot of people from my generation have that. The people that, are on the lower end of the millennial arc. Like, I was born in 92, so a lot of the cultural highlights that were big when I was growing up, I experienced them secondhand, like within a few years of them being out through like cable or videotape. I probably went through the Batman, the animated series. I was talking about this with a guy the other day. I probably went through that a good 3 or 4 years after it really came out, and when it was in reruns, like on WB, and they'd started airing it on WB.
Well, I know for me, I saw some of his movies, and I did not know they were Martin Scorsese movies at the time.
Oh, really?
I know I saw Cape Fear without having any idea about who Martin Scorsese was. I just thought, hey, Cape Fear is a really kind of cool little thriller. Then I remember seeing Goodfellas. I actually watched Goodfellas with my parents and my sister, because we used to watch a whole bunch of movies together.
Oh, wow.
At that time, when I was a young kid, I wasn't really paying attention to filmmakers, and so I just watched this great little crime caper, then Casino. I don't think it was until, possibly I'm going way back now to I have to go all the way back to even Gangsta, New York, when I found out, Martin Scorsese is this director. Then I went back, I have seen his other movies, and I just didn't put the name and the face together for a while. And after, I think it was after Days of New York, I went back and saw Taxi Driver for the first time and saw Raging Bull. And yeah,
Are you a Mean Streets fan?
You know, the weird thing too is like I own Mean Streets, but I have not yet watched it.
I think a lot of people are that way with Mean Streets.
So,
you know, it's pretty public that I've been a Ralph Bakshi fan my whole life.
Oh.
I'm not quite as into his work anymore. I came across an allegation about him in a BuzzFeed article that I was not previously aware of when I did the episodes I did about him, and I've just kind of stopped covering him. But him and Martin Scorsese are very linked cinematically, you know, in how they portray how do I put this? How they portray like masculinity throughout genre conventions and things like that. Like they're both like in the first episode of my show, I talked about the Ralph Bakshi film Coonskin with a writer by the name of Miss Sheree, who's going to be on my Freakazoid rewatch podcast coming up soon.
Okay.
And there's a scene in Taxi Driver where there's a big like riot going on, and they filmed like this riot happening in live time. And from what I understand, that is the riot that was happening around a showing of Coonskin in like Times Square or something like that.
oh,
Yeah, so there's a lot of like I have a you know a lot of love for Martin Scorsese and what he does, but I've also like been kind of cutting myself off from him too because he's somebody like he's like an easy thing to get into all the time. You know what I mean? To just put on. You know, I want to enjoy his works a little bit more when I go through them. I don't want to treat them like a candy or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%. And I'm very curious to check out those other episodes on Ralph Bakshi because I got into Ralph Bakshi after Cool World, and then I saw Fritz the Cat and Heavy Traffic and American Pop and a few other ones right there. And I do remember the movie Coonskin, but on VHS it was called Street Fight. So
Right. It had the alternate title because of all the controversy that had happened when it came out. They were still too scared to call it its actual name.
because I know that movie Coonskin had a lot of great black actors at the time, Scatman Crothers and a few others that I can't.
Philip Michael Thomas, and
Okay.
it also has Barry White's
Oh.
only cinematic performance.
Oh really? Oh really? Oh wow! Oh very cool
Can I-
indeed.
Can I take just a second and talk about Barry White in that movie? Because in my episode, I somehow completely neglected to bring it up. But his performance in that is so good with what he has to work with as an actor and being a person who had never been an actor before. That was part of the thing, part of the reason why I enjoyed that movie so much too, was because I felt like it's just a raw expression of people who are not necessarily trained in the same way actors are today. You know, like no one's going to make a movie like that today ever again because you can't replicate that time and place and the experiences those people were having.
Very cool indeed. Yeah, I love that. Anyways, folks, check out Conversations with Robbie Sherman. Really quickly, Robbie, just tell audiences where they can find your show.
Yeah, I have an account set up through Anchor, and that also puts me on Spotify, and I also found out I'm on Podchaser, and I am on a few others, so I'm going to be kind of figuring out how to work all those better into my social media. So if it's a little hard to find me, I apologize, but I don't think it really is that hard to find me if you just kind of Google me and, you know, Google the name of my show, Conversations with Robbie Sherman, with an Anchor, you know, link or whatever. It should be pretty easy to find.
Very cool. Yeah, and I'll post links to his episodes during our page. What we gotta do right now is I gotta take just a small little break. We're gonna play just a quick little ad spot from a great podcast show, and then we'll be back to talk about Martin Scorsese's After Hours.
After these messages, We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Bubba Wheat from It's Time to Rewind, a movie podcast. Wait, that's not quite right. Hello, this is Bubba Wheat from It's Time to Rewind, a time travel podcast. Wait, that's not quite right either. Hello, this is Bubba Wheat from It's Time to Rewind, a time loop podcast where we discuss time loop movies and TV shows, one loop at a repetitive time. Find it on Anchor.fm and anywhere else you listen to podcasts.
There's never been a comedy quite like After Hours, Rave's People magazine. A racy, raucous ride through the night, bound to leave audiences reeling with laughter. Newsweek says, what a pleasure it is to watch Scorsese cook. He's masterful, his images sparkle, and the Village Voice calls it funny, original, and audacious. After Hours.
I'm glad you came.
Rated R.
Now at select theaters, coming soon to additional locations.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Cinema Recall Podcast. I am, of course, your host, The Vern. With me is Robbie Sherman of Conversations with Robbie Sherman. But, alright, Robbie, After Hours. What is it about After Hours that you really liked? And kind of tell our audiences a little bit about what this movie is about. Because I'm still kind of struggling with this one.
Well, I mean, what it's about is a guy who is going out and trying to live his life a little. I think this is a good way to sum it up. Okay, it's about an office worker who's very bored and unsatisfied with what he's doing in life. They have a very basic opening scene where he just has to kind of put up with the droll of this underling that he has to tutor in a new program on the computer at work, and and he goes out and his night just keeps escalating into one uncomfortable situation after another. And I think most of the movie is about his rising anxiety and how he has no control over what he's doing since he's decided to make a decision and go out into the real world away from his cozy life.
It almost feels like a surreal dream in a way. The movie stars Griffin Dunn, Rosanna Arquette, Linda Fiorentino. It's got appearances by Cheech Marin, Thomas Chon, John Hurd, Catherine Marati, Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara. So it's got the parents of Home Alone in this movie in different roles. The whole thing just felt like a dream sequence because, he's this bored office worker. He meets Rosanna Arquette's character in this, coffee shop restaurant, and they start up a friendship. She gives him her number, and or he gives her number or something, and he decides on a late night just to give her a call up. Not really to, I'm sure he wants to make a date with her, but he wasn't expecting anything that night. He just wanted to talk to a nice girl, and she's like, hey, you should come up. And it's well, it's 11:30 at night, and I gotta get work for early. But he's like, hey, I may have a chance to maybe get somewhere with this really good-looking woman. And so he goes, and things are gonna go bad for this guy when he gets into the cab, and the cab is just going super fast down the road, and the money that he has to pay the cabbie falls out the window, and so he has nothing. And I guess the weird thing.
You can go ahead if you want to. It's okay. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the cab sequence, how much they kept ramping up the speed of the cab.
Yeah, because they even I know they had to do some stuff with the film stock to make it go faster. They definitely sped up the the film read of that to make it appear as it's going faster. That's why I felt like it was sort of like a surreal dream. I almost have this feeling that he dreamt everything that's going on just because of some of the camera shots that Martin Scorsese uses in this. Makes it feel like it's a dream sequence, especially him and his cinematographer Michael Ballhaus. Makes it surreal. There's that moment when he actually goes to the apartment with Rosanna Arquette's character, and he meets Linda Fiorentino's character, and she drops him that keys. And the way the keys are shot, it's almost like, these are the keys to your dreamscape world.
Yeah. I think like we could use the adjective cartoony as well, because sometimes like since they're doing all these very obvious filmic like edits and special effects, it feels elastic in a certain way. Like it feels like anything can happen, even though all the actions are so grounded in reality.
Yeah, 100%, man. Let's see here. So he did. No, this is the first time. Speaking about Linda Fiorentino, I mean, I know I recognize this lady from Men in Black.
Men in Black.
And she did a movie in like 1994 called The Last Seduction.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, Last Seduction is really great. She plays like this really ultimate con woman. We covered it on our Femme Fatale February series. I think me and Howard Kastner of Pop Art Podcast talked about this movie on an early episode. And so I kind of remember her from that. And it was so weird seeing her like with a short, punt-up haircut, because Linda Fiorentino, from the movies I've seen her in, always had that long kind of like black hair, almost like a femme fatale type of role. So it's nice seeing her in this, and I don't know what she's doing, but she has like these statues she's putting like paper mache over. Like this, yeah, you know what those are?
It was bizarre, and let me ask you something. Do you think this film suffers from a how do I put this? A first-time screenwriter's problem, like where it places a bunch of elements without ever like properly explaining what they're really supposed to do, because we know why he goes up to the excuse he uses to talk to her, which is like she makes these little paper mache donuts that are paperweights, okay? But it doesn't really seem like she would be able to make money off of this in a way that would be practical, to keep doing and justify the expense of doing it. And paper mache becomes like a theme throughout the film, but it never really like has a justification. It's just kind of there to be weird and odd. Like, do you feel like that's a form of put upon quirkiness?
It's fascinating. It's hard to really say for sure. I mean, I guess so. I just know that Griffin Dunn's character is there. He says he's there for the paper mache, paperweights and whatnot. But it's clear that he's really interested in getting with the Rosanna Arquette character, which, hey, I can't blame him. Toto wrote a song about Rosanna Arquette, so... And I gotta say, Rosanna Arquette, even now, but back then, yeah, she was just hot stuff. I mean, this comes after Desperately Seeking Susan that she did with Madonna, and I just remember her just being just a completely very attractive woman. Her sister Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, I felt really like. I don't know, I felt really enamored with Terry Garr, but that may just be because I like Terry Garr. I've always thought Terry Garr was an incredibly appealing and attractive person to view on screen.
100%.
I was surprised I was surprised to see her in this movie, and the type of role she played. I didn't expect it at all, and it was I don't know if she was my favorite character, but it was a surprise, and it was interesting to see how she fit into this little portrait of a knight that he goes through.
Oh yeah, 100%. Each character that our lead interacts with is a lot of fun. I like the moment because he's okay. So let's set this up here because he's there with Rosanna Arquette's character, but actually no, she's not there right away because she had to go out. So he's actually there with Linda Fiorentina's character. She asks for like a neck massage. He gives her a neck massage. She falls asleep. Rosanna's character shows up. They start having a conversation, and then things get to be kind of weird between the two when he starts to find out that she had like sort of like burns on her arms.
Well, he believes.
He believes, yes. He believes there's like burns
he
on her body.
never really finds out until a like good deal into the movie.
Yeah, but then he sees like these books of like skin grafting, and when he lifts up her shirt, he sees something that looks like would be a scar, and he gets started like grossed out by this, and I guess she's talking to this other person, so maybe he thinks that she's involved with someone else. I'm not sure, but either way, he just starts to lose interest in this girl right away, and when he gets a chance to bolt, he bolts.
Yeah, and it kind of drives me nuts because it just feels like such a it feels like such a shallow thing that he's really building up as a big issue in his head.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, at least from my perspective. And I think it colors like how the film treats him. Like, I think the film is more of a morality play where it's constantly putting him in situations that could lead to gratification, but in reality don't, because his actions never allow him to have gratification.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I just thought it was so weird that he decided to just sort of like just bolt out of there. And now he's trying to go home. He tries to actually get I guess, the subway train back, but he doesn't have enough money. He's short like just like 5 cents to get home.
Yeah.
And,
no, he's short like 50 cents.
50 cents.
He's short. Yeah.
Oh, but,
yeah, they just raised it at midnight that night.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and here's the weird thing too. I mean, I always thought that he could run to an ATM machine and he'd get cash. And I thought maybe at the time of 1985, there was no ATMs, but apparently there were ATM machines.
That doesn't mean it was nearby to him,
That's true.
That may have been like a luxury in Uptown, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's probably true, not in the Soho area. He's trying to get, he stopped at this restaurant run by John Hurt's character, and he's trying to get money from him, but he can't get the cash register open, and he's got to run out to get the cash. And here's a weird thing, too, that I always get confused on. When he's trying to get his cash back from that apartment building, because John Hurt's character tells Griffin Dunn's character that he's got to go somewhere else to help get the keys for the register. And then somehow during that whole fiasco, he gets accused of a crime for some reason. I was never clear about the crime.
What happened is fucking Hurt's character, or Hurt, forgive me. Anyways, that character was having him go up to his apartment so he could get the key for the register.
Yeah.
And they establish through either a television or some kind of newspaper that there's a thief on the loose. So he goes up there, gets the key, and then he's coming back down the stairs, and the two neighbors see him hey, what are you doing? And he can't really answer their questions very well. He's just trying to get back. And his anxiety makes it seem like he's dodging their questions simply because he's a thief. To them, they only see a thief.
Sure.
And that's part of what bankrolls the film into its final climax and ending.
Okay. All right. So, and I think because there's two different bars in this movie. There's the bar or it's not a bar, it's like a restaurant that John Hurt's character is at, or that's a bar, all right? And then he meets Terry Garth's character at this other coffee shop bar, and she starts taking a liking to him, and it seems like she wants to help him out, and she invites him back to her place, and it's sort of clear that she has more romantic interests in him at the start, and which, hey, good for him. I mean, god damn it, dude. I'm kind of irritated that, this guy has a chance with both Rosanna Arquette and Terry Garr, and he kind of fails on both measures. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, it plays into the film, like, actively hating this character, and whenever he fucks up and his anxiety makes him seem like he's being rude or like he has no like appreciation for what's happening around him, he just the film immediately like makes it 10 times worse on him, like in the ensuing plot. Like the third woman that comes in, Catherine O'Hara, she almost immediately turns against him once she sees this like poster of him as the suspected robber.
Oh yeah, because she's like, yeah, I can get you a ride back and my ice cream van, no problem. So this guy's thinking, well, shoot, my life is saved now. I can go back with this woman. And then right when they're walking to the ice cream truck, she sees that poster, and she's like, oh, you're a villain and you're cruel, and she gets together like a whole mob of people after him.
Yeah, there's a whole ton of Catholic guilt in this movie if you look at the symbolism of how it's set up, because there's 3 women, so that forms a trinity. He's like going out, and he's like searching for, I guess what we can assume to be companionship and sex, and he's never getting it, so having these like 3 women act as like moral hinges for moral hinges that the plot depends on to decide how he's going to be treated from there on out. Is why I actually put off my first viewing to like do it right before we did this recording, so I could kind of record my thoughts fresh off of it.
Okay. You know what this movie kind of reminds me of while watching it? It reminds me of A Simple Man, that movie by the Coen brothers.
Yes, that's a very good comparison. It makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah. Great thought, Jason.
Which I need to really, like, talk about again. Oh, you used my real name.
Oh, I'm sorry, but... Yeah.
No, it's cool. No, everyone knows my name is Jason. I just go by the name Vern. I just, when I hear the name Jason, I was like, wait, are my parents here? Did I mess up? No. Because everything bad that happens to Griffin Dunn's character is the same thing that happens to Michael Stubble. I'm going to mess the guy's name, but happens to the main character in A Simple Plan. And I just thought to be kind of a cool thing. But definitely, I think After Hours has more of that surreal quality to it. Especially in moments when he's at that one nightclub. And it's that punk rock nightclub. And the weird thing is about the sequence is that you have Martin Scorsese holding that light and shining that light on people. And it's almost like, so Martin Scorsese is sort of like controlling the dream. He's like waiting out this character and having things happen to this character. It's almost like we're watching Martin Scorsese's writing project. And he's like playing God of what's happening to this guy.
Wow, I didn't even realize that was him doing that, so that really brings a whole lot of interesting complexion to the film. Thank you.
So but that's what we kind of looked at too, because all writers are almost like gods or filmmakers, because they're putting their characters through these things, and either good or bad, they are controlling the destiny of these characters. And it's clear that Martin Scorsese is doing this to this person. Quick little side note here. Now, I know that After Hours was made because at this time, Martin Scorsese was trying to make The Last Temptation of Christ through Paramount. and the movie just went through a lot of obstacles, and it was basically shut down because of protests that the Catholic Church was making at the time against the movie. So Paramount dropped the project, and Martin Scorsese was completely, upset, devastated. This was one of his dream projects to do, and it was a big, large budget, and he couldn't get the financing to finish the rest of the movie. So he felt really upset.
Right. It's good that you mentioned that he did this, while he was dealing with all the what was the name of the movie he made that was like a big a Chronicle of Jesus' Last Days or something like that.
The Last Temptation of Christ.
The Last Temptation of Christ. Okay, but it's a good thing you mentioned that, because like this whole movie is riddled with guilt and shame and like subtle expressions of it.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, it definitely has that element, and you can tell that Griffin Dunn's character is being basically kind of like Job in this and whatnot. Like I said before, the same character from A Simple Man. Like this is a movie of his that I do watch on occasion, every once in a while. I know I need to go back and rewatch the commentary with him, Griffin Dunn, and the producers, and I did start watching a little bit of it, but I never had a chance to finish it. And what I heard in the commentary was just about the pre-production of the movie and how Martin Scorsese was trying to make this big religious epic that just fell, and he's feeling distraught, and he was about ready to give up filmmaking until he made this movie, because the other movie he did before this was The King of Comedy, and he's trying to get the financing from The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver and a few other ones to helm this big religious epic. And when that went under, Martin Scorsese was like almost ready to give up filmmaking. So that's why I took on smaller projects like this movie, and then also that concert documentary, The Last Waltz.
I see. Okay. It all kind of exists within a few areas, right? It wouldn't be hard to film it in a city, if you have a good enough amount of money. Yeah,
100%. Do you have like one favorite moment of After Hours that you really like?
Well, how much do you want to give away of the ending? Because I kind of want to recant a statement I said earlier about the plaster, the plaster of Paris, the mold material that's used.
Oh, you can give away spoilers. It's totally fine.
Okay. Well, this movie ends about him, like, he gets run into this club, he's looking for a place to hide, and the mob, like, the angry mob that thinks he's this robber that's been going around town breaking into people's houses, they track him down to this bar that was where the punk club was, but now there's just no one in there, and it seems smaller too, and they have like a subtle joke about that. Anyways, he gets taken downstairs with this woman that he ends up meeting, and like it plays like it's going to be a sex scene for a moment, but then he just ends up putting his head on her breast, and it's like it's a very motherly moment. There's a lot of dramatic symbolism in it that one could parse out from it. And she herself is a sculptor, and she makes these big paper mache sculptures like Kiki does. And and she ends up deciding, like, hey, if I put you inside one of these sculptures, they won't be able to figure out who the hell you are. Mm-hmm. So he agrees to do this because he's so worried about losing his life after all the events of tonight. And she like goes away to deal with this, and he ends up getting picked up by the actual robbers, who are played by Cheech and Chong. And they don't even have any really good reasoning. They just make like really shitty jokes about it the whole time. Yeah. But they like bring it in to their van, and it eventually winds down with him falling out of the back of the van when the doors open, and the sculpture breaks and he lands on the sidewalk and kind of emerges from it. And he's covered in this like mold excess, and he's like right in front of his workplace, and he walks into his workplace, and he just like sits down and starts working. And it's like such a good moment. Like it really threw me for a loop, because I didn't expect that to have symbolism the way it did, to like have a moment where he is actually kind of reborn after all these like trials that he's gone through, and it kind of catapulted the themes of shame together into one cohesive statement.
The weird thing is that after all the experiences that he has, I still believe that he's just going to do the same thing all over again. Like, he may learn something somewhat of it, though. That's why I kind of feel like this whole night that happens with him is a dream. And he's sort of like just waking up from this dream. And it'd be kind of curious to see if he's going to learn anything from this. But I guarantee you, another pretty girl is going to bat her eyes. And he's going to be smitten by her. And hey, I can't blame him. I've done that before, too. And I've made some bad, dumb mistakes. But I will still do it again. It's like that old joke that was in Annie Hall, and like, hey, our brother is crazy. He keeps thinking that he's a chicken. And they said, well, why don't you have him committed? And they're like, well, we would, but we need the eggs.
It's not really the kindest film to how it handles its female characters, because all of the female characters' autonomy kind of lives and dies by what he's supposed to be experiencing that night. And I did like come away from it wanting something a little more for what its female characters are going through, because it does present some complex female characterization, especially when you think about like the types of roles that are often for women in a Martin Scorsese film, usually the wife or the sister. I love Martin Scorsese, but let's face it, he's not always been the best with writing female roles over the years, though he has shown very capably that he's able to do it.
Oh, sure, 100%. So, do you have any we're getting to the end of the episode here. Do you have any sort of like final thoughts you have, or anything we didn't cover about After Hours that you want to discuss?
I mean, I really thought it was like interesting how mannered the performances are in a certain level, because I thought like they have to show so much information about their characters within such a short time frame, and I thought that was interesting. And they have to like keep finding excuses for him to interact with different people. Like, I felt Terry Garr's introduction was a little just undercooked, because he just walks in, he's completely rained on. He has his coat and everything just completely soaked, and she is just immediately enamored with him. She has her number on a napkin, and like she says, "I hate this job" and everything. And yeah, like it doesn't. I didn't really feel like there was any motivating factor for him to be this person in particular that Terry Garr would pick to latch on to.
Yeah. And that's why it made me feel like it's a dream, because in a dream, stuff that would never happen actually does happen. And just the way that the film is used, it's a very surreal experience. And Martin Scorsese was just trying new camera movements in this.
I was impressed.
What's that?
I was impressed by the little like camera things he did, because
100%.
Oftentimes they would be like ordinary things, but he'd slow them down or speed them up to give them a surreal edge, and it added so much character to the film in a way that lesser films wouldn't have that element so well handled.
Yeah, I dig it. So if you had to rate this movie out of like 1 out of 5 dropping keys, what would it be?
I guess I'd give it. Can I do like a partial rating, like an in between rating? Okay,
yeah.
okay. I guess I'd give it a 3.75.
Oh, okay.
You know, like depending on how invested you are into seeing what this person goes through, I think you're going to have to tolerate just a little bit of suspension of disbelief. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I still thought it was an entertaining and thoughtful exercise. Like I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's episodic in a certain way that is also not so disjointed that it takes you out, because sometimes films like this plays a lot like a Safdie brothers film, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like this is like a dry run for that type of cinema that we've been enjoying the past few years. This like if you're willing to go with it and you don't mind like dealing with some of the misogyny inherent in how it handles its imagery, I think it's a perfectly good and well-made film from a masterful filmmaker.
I love the comparison you made, Robbie, to the Safdie brothers, because yes, this is totally like Uncut Gems. Or
it has that same type of energy, though I think it's far more surreal in how it handles its day-to-day workings of its characters.
Oh, this is definitely more of surreal dreams. Safdie brothers made kind of like visual nightmares.
Let me tell you, were you into like the color grading he was doing throughout it?
I did.
Like,
I did most of it, yeah.
I thought like all the colors were incredibly full and like symbolic, and I there was stuff like I would see that he would do a color, I would think like, does that mean something? And if I didn't have time to process what it meant, like, I'm sorry if you don't like that. I just watched the film like right before we did this.
No, it's great.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to see what my reflection would be like later on,
Sure.
I had put this one off for so many years for whatever reason. I'd always known it had existed, but it's never been a critical darling, right? Like, it's never been something that the critics really hold up as one of Scorsese's best, and I don't even hear his fans consider it like one of his better ones, but I just thought it was fine. Like, I thought it was a perfectly good film for what it sets out to be as a film. It's very compact, and it has a very efficient plotting. It doesn't feel tired at any moment, even when it's taking some liberties in how its characters interact with each other.
Well, the thing about Scorsese is that a lot of people consider him to be only filmmakers of gangster and crime epics like The Departed and Goodfellas and Casino. And Martin Scorsese has had a wide range of movies. He did a family movie like Hugo.
I was just going to mention that. Perfectly good film.
Yeah.
Incredibly well done. Has great themes, and it has a history of cinema in that film that you could present to your entire family that is not only fascinating but entertaining.
Very much so. And I still need I just saw it was on the Criterion Channel, the movie The Age of Innocence, which...
Oh, I don't even know that one. I've never even heard of that one.
It's with Daniel Day-Lewis and Michelle Pfeiffer, Winona Ryder. It's this Merchant Ivory period piece movie with costumes and drama, like a Jane Austen adaptation that Martin Scorsese has done. I'm not saying Jane Austen wrote it, but it definitely has that vibe.
Okay.
And I'm very kind of curious about how he's going to handle a costumed drama like that. So, and I'm very intrigued.
I'll watch anything with Michelle Pfeiffer in it.
Hell yeah. I'm same with Winona Ryder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like Winona Ryder playing too.
So, very kind of curious to check that out. If I had to rate After Hours, I'd probably give it about the same score. I'm going to more like a 3. I'm going to go with 3 Terry Gars in the film.
Terry Garr is sensational, even when she's like walking on thin ice as far as character motivations go.
But as it's a very surreal type of movie. It's a short movie. I mean, it kind of gets out.
If you have anxiety issues, it might be a little much. So remember that.
I'm doing mine 3 Rosanna Arquette's in this one here.
Oh, okay.
I like Terry Garr, but Rosanna Arquette is just like, especially at this time.
I was really captivated by Linda Fiorentino too. She did an excellent job, and she had a personality to her in that role that I wasn't expecting. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Very good. I think the movie actually does have like pretty good, strong female characters in this film, despite our own shortcomings.
I mean, let's face it, like, there is a lot of opportunities to show, like, females in sexual positions and to use them as a trap for the male character.
Yeah, okay.
So it definitely does have some issues on that level, but if you can get past all those, then I don't think it's really... Like, I don't think it's as harsh to its female characters as other films would be. Like, it is artful about how it handles its female characters, at least on a certain level.
That is very true. All right, well, that was kind of our discussion about Martin Scorsese's After Hours. That is all I have to say right now. And yes, as one of the songs says, is that all there is? Is that all there is? But thank you for listening to the show, everyone, and we'll see you soon.